everyone, welcome back to my channel. And this week on my spooky readings October TBR list, I'm going to be focusing on the classic, the original vampire story that started it all, Dracula. And I will say this is probably the book in my TBR that I am the most anxious to read because it is so much older than everything else. And so I'm worried that it's going to be dense and difficult to get through and then make me behind. So I'm trying to make a conscious effort to start early. This is week 2, October 7th. So I'm going to really just force myself to sit down and read it, and hopefully, despite the fact that it is older, it will pick up for me and I will enjoy reading it. So now that I'm sitting down, if I might be so bold, I really want to read the first paragraph of the introduction at the front of the book. Despite the popular success of more contemporary works like Stephenie Meyer's Twilight and The Vampire Chronicles by Anne Rice, Dracula remains in place as the preeminent vampire story. Yet, when first published in 1897, Bram Stoker's tale of a Transylvanian nobleman and his thirst for blood was not a bestseller. Indeed, several decades passed before it approached the status it holds today. I just think that's really interesting, and it seems like a lot of classics kind of follow that same path where during their time they're not popular, they're not seen as special. Only after the author dies or decades later, sometimes many decades later, do they rise up in the cultural zeitgeist. So it's really interesting that something as prominent as Dracula, I mean, everyone, and pretty much including little kids, know at least who Dracula is or what Dracula is. But to think that the book itself was not prominent when it was published during its time is just so interesting. Possibly encouraging, possibly discouraging, depending on the way you look at it, if you yourself are a writer. Hello everyone, ignore my crazy pulled back hair, but I did finish the second chapter of Dracula, although looking at it, I realized I needed to read way more than 2 chapters a day if I'm going to get through this book at a reasonable pace. So I'm aiming between 3 and 5 a day, although it is past 4 p.m. And have I been able to start reading at all? No, because I've had to deal with stupid insurance companies because I have a new car, and it's just been the worst, and I have some errands to run, but hopefully once I get home after I walk the puppies, I can just sit back and read some creepy old vampire English obsessed weirdo. How delightfully fitting is it to eat a steak while reading Dracula? Hey guys, so as you can see, not super far along in the Dracula. I'm going to spend, at least the next hour just trying to get through as much as possible because I am definitely itching to get out of here. I tried to stay until around 4 before going home, but it is just so beautiful and warm out, and I'm like, okay, I gotta go hang out with the puppies. But before I do, I'm gonna try to just read as much as possible. I am getting more and more into the book, but it's strange. It's strange because of the way it's structured. It's like somebody is writing in their journal. It's an odd way to consume a story because personally, I'm like, no, I want to be in the story, not kind of hear about it secondhand. But it's not bad either because you're getting the sense that this guy feels like he's trapped, he's scared, maybe he's going insane. I know it's about to change perspectives to someone else after this chapter, so it won't be this guy's journal anymore. It'll be someone else's journal or letters or something like that. So I'm interested to see how the story unfolds with all these different perspectives and characters, and I don't know if that's gonna jump through time too. So could end up being really cool, but I gotta keep reading to find out for sure. I just wanna pop in to say, and I hate to be that guy, but I feel like I've really found my stride with my Instagram account lately. If you're into character or story, aesthetic boards and collages, that's kind of more what I've been getting into and relating that to my own story. And I've been having a lot of fun with that. It's actually been quite the creative outlet for me recently. So feel free to check that out if you're into the Instagram thing yourself.
This adventure me and you!
Hello everyone, happy Sunday. Sorry I haven't really updated you on this reading vlog the last few days, but I had a girls' night Friday night, which was obviously fun and delightful, and we painted our nails, had a face mask, watched a romantic comedy, so it was very needed. And then yesterday, super busy, and then went to a haunted house, which was fantastic. It was called 13th Floor Haunted House. So much fun. However, the line was 2.5 hours long. That part, not as fun, even though we were like bundled up, so we were prepared to wait outside, and they did have clowns and scary people coming up to you and, you know, haunting you or whatever. Once you hit that 2.5 hour mark, they're not quite as scary anymore. We didn't get home until after midnight. The haunted house itself was awesome. I love haunted houses because I do fright easily. Like, I'll scream, I'll cower away, I start freaking out, but in a fun way. Like, I know that they're actors and I understand what's going on. I'm not like actually terrified, but it's like a fun kind of scare. And this one was really, really cool because they had like, you wore 3D glasses and they had this like trippy neon paint on the actors' faces and on the walls, and it was all coming out at you, and it was dope. That being said, it is Sunday, and Sunday is not a fun day because it is chore day, so I'm just like cleaning up the whole house. But the reason this is in this reading vlog is because Dracula is in the public domain, and so the audiobook is just out on YouTube. So I'm like, hey, let's like listen to some Dracula while I'm doing this stuff, which is such a good way to go about it, because now I'm in, I can't remember her name, the Marie, her chapters. Some of her stuff is boring, like really, really boring. She's now kind of getting to the cooler stuff, or the more interesting stuff, because like the boat came in and there was a dead man steering the boat. Her sister's dealing with sleepwalking and all these weird things are happening. It's getting somewhere interesting. But I definitely will get through it faster if I am simultaneously listening and reading the physical copy. I was listening to The Last Argument of Kings, the third book in the First Law trilogy. I'm not gonna listen to you for a little bit. It made me so heartbroken, but it will definitely be the only way I get through Dracula in a decent amount of time, which again is not a long book, but it's tedious at points, so the audiobook helps a lot. Thank God I found the audio for Dracula, because I would be nowhere near this far along if I did not have it to listen to while doing chores and driving and walking the dogs, because now I am about gosh, over 200 pages in, roughly. I'm not exactly sure, but this is roughly a guess of where I think I'm at in the book, but I'm pretty far along. I'm almost to the audio on YouTube is split up into 2 parts, and I'm almost done with my first part, and then after that I have 8 hours left. So I'm definitely going to finish it by this week. It's just a question of whether it will be midweek or towards the end of the week. But now that I'm in it, and I'm like in it, in this book, I am enjoying it. It's weird. The way it's set up is freaking bizarre. The main characters that these conflicts tend to be around are rarely the ones that get to talk about said conflicts. It's always very obscure secondary characters talking about the main character. It's a very odd way to set up a story. Like if someone came to me today with this sort of manuscript, I would be like, no, that's weird. You're making it very convoluted. Let's make it more straightforward. Let's not constantly have the whole book be in journal and letter format. It can just be a distant third person. So that is still tedious. It's weird, it's creepy. It definitely puts me in the October vibe and the spooky vibe. I'm also a little bummed we haven't been getting more Dracula. In the beginning, we met Dracula by chapter 2, and it was just like, woo, Dracula. He's interesting, he's fun, he's crazy, he's demonic, he's creepy. And now we're so far in, and there's hints of Dracula in like bat form, or you get like glimpses of him here or there, which is creepy in its own right. I understand why maybe the author decided to show him in the beginning so we know he exists and then withhold him. But I miss him. I want him to come back. Instead, all these creepy things are happening to different people, like sleepwalking and suddenly looking anemic, people going insane. We'll see how everything kind of ties together at the end. I have a feeling it will not be a happy ending. So stay tuned, because there's definitely going to be a part 2 to this vlog, because obviously I did not finish this in the week, but that's okay, because the Gillian Flynn book that I plan on reading, I'll probably finish in an hour. So, but thank you so much for hanging out with me, guys. Make sure to subscribe if you like this sort of video, and I will see you next week with my next reading vlog. Bye.